Attention gamers. If you like off-meta picks point and click scary stories cloning yourself in bushes sucking off multiple things at once, and throwing some of the dankest bot lane surprise parties the Rift has ever seen, then let you tell me Mr. Forth, that you've come to the right place, because there's something eerily dopamine releasing about seeing a group of party animals coming in to vandalize your property, strong in numbers, full of false confidence, without a clue of the dangers that lurk behind the shadows. They loiter in the danger zone thinking they own this Rift, but you woke up today wanting to be that one scarecrow, dressed as a circus clown, ready to shock the world with a wild pentakill themed party. But the execution fell short, which is why you need this guide. Okay, let's first talk about why this horny haybag is actually 200 IQ in the bot lane. Imagine a situation where the enemy ChatGPT Nami was raised to support her man by warding only to trade a bubble for a bind. You can first make sure she stays quiet and then show her what was in those Hillary Clinton emails, which will scare the shit out of her and secure the kill. Then some whispering psychopath will start counting, but you have the tools to silence that shit well before he hits 4. He'll be pissed with the bluest of balls and will start to chase, only to learn that you planned a dank-ass party for him, and now instead of your jungler dying on your watch, he gets to steal your hard-earned kill. So in summary, your kit brings a ton of different utility that is perfect for a duo lane that we will get into, but I need to start with the biggest challenge for Fiddlesticks ADC. Now, if you only remember one thing from this entire video, it would be that the human skin makes up 15% of a human's total body weight, but then the second thing would be to never ever hover this pick before ban phase. You have to remember that these are League of Legends players on your team, and the second they get a whiff of something off meta going on, the hairs over their mobafire.com tattoo will stand straight up, as they will speedrun a ban of Fiddlesticks 10 out of 10 times. Do they care that you want to have fun? No. Do they care that this is your best pick with almost an 80% win rate in ranked? No. Do they care that this is a normal and they can't lose LP? No. Do they care that you are the lead singer in a popular punk band at Coachella this year? Well, maybe, but there's no time for that raspy rapping, so your best bet is to hide your hover, wait until it's your turn to lock in, and then let them throw a temper in chat, because otherwise, 9 out of 9 league players will not let this through if they see it. For runes, Dark Harvey has nothing on Steve Harvey, and then since your ult is considered a dash, you nab this fat DPS buff. Collecting eyeballs fits the fucked up fiddle rework theme, and then playing fiddle without taking Ultimate Hunter is like going to the strip club without a bunch of nickels. The real homies will understand. Second tree, I like second wind because you get poked and prodded more than a colonoscopized anus, and then revitalize is something worth dwelling on because your survival unironically relies on your ability to suck. For example, if you fall into the trap of thinking your scary stories or your Reaper whack are more important than your rainbow suck, then you will quickly find yourself in a worse spot than Helen Keller in a spelling bee, with no option other than to let that last ignite tick take you down unless a hero swoops in. But with this rune and a W max strategy, you could be on a couch with a Dyson, a shop vac, and Riley Reid, and no one will argue with you being the best at sucking in that room. In this clip you can see that I'm rocking a build that has me squishier than a natural tit, yet I'm not afraid to throw a party in a bad part of town because my Glock 9000 is out healing half their team's damage, and if you can survive that, it opens up the door for some fat montage moments.
Fall out to the support. Oh, she got.
And lastly, on the topic of sucking, Ricky Bobby once talked about the shake and bake, but as an ADC fiddle you need to master the suck and fuck. You see, channeling your W in lane makes you a stationary target, and when enemies see you cast it, something possesses them to run in a straight line at you without thinking about the consequences. The suck, and then the fuck. We will talk about this more later. In terms of builds, if you don't rush Malignance, you might as well start buying Adult Depends because you are full of shit and have lost all control, but then you have some options. Protobelt is great if you play this game like you take a tequila shot every time someone tries to surrender a game and thus can't aim your ult for shit and need a little gooch scoot to get you back in range of the targets you missed, which if I'm being honest is what I'm rolling most of the time, but then you may want Zanya's second if you have a piece of shit Piltover mall cop who is enjoying the fact that her range is almost triple yours, and then after that I just talk to Boris, filter the shop by AP and pin the tail on the donkey because most of the time someone is AFK by this point and the outcome of the game is already determined, so who are we kidding ourselves here? Welcome to my comprehensive tier list of Fiddlesticks ADC supports. S tier is poke mages that can make up for the fact that you apply a negative amount of pressure in lane and are just there to suck off minions until you are old enough to ult. You can see this here while I am back attending to the Red Robe Academy. I have my own Tesla supercharger being a grade A dickhead to their ADC so that I can have my space. I'm almost always low in health, just waiting for my next rainbow suck and relying on my mage to package up some sushi for me to flash flambe with an ignite for the kill credit. They also synergize perfectly with the suck and fuck combo as you set up the bait and then they come in to capitalize on it hard. Sure, they are squishy, but if any counting psychopath zooms out, you can just show him what happens when you Google blue waffle and all will be good. The middle of the pack can be represented by any meta support or enchanter, as it will just feel like milk toast until 6 because you suck ass, because Fiddle ADC is reportedly troll in the super early game, and then we have the F tier featuring Caitlyn support. Caitlyn supports will be more absent than most OnlyFans girls' fathers, constantly one shot and not able to contribute to society. Missing their combos every time they try and then making sus calls that put you in a situation that they don't train for in the Clown Car Haybag Academy. She will only ever be used against you, and when you really need her she is tabbed out watching the video of when Zwag did this against a bunch of viewers in a custom, wondering why it worked so well for him. In terms of bans, my recommendation is to go with Janna, that airbending slut. Please see exhibits F and U for evidence into why. Now, the best way to play the early game is to understand that you pack more CCs than a bowl of factory defective alphabet soup, as you can see with this kitty who got out of the litter and then got stun locked for the last 8 seconds of his life. But really it comes down to using your kit to survive situations that other butt munchers would never expect you to. Here we overextend hard to take down a burnt bagel bite, which is looking like a greedy trade until you realize I have screenshots of Dr. Disrespect's DMs, which is enough to scare any father. And so even though me and my short-circuiting outlet of a support were both one bard's fart from death, we had the control in our kit to make sure not a single right click got off. Here we would have had a fat kill if I would have listened to my own advice and banned that bitch Janna, but instead it turned into a situation where we were more outnumbered than a pretzel in a bag of Chex Mix. But I can use my kit to inform the new arrival that I'd like him to leave, and then you may think, dank, he survived a situation that would have killed any meta slave ADC 6 times over. But that's where I tell you I'm not done, as I hit them with the 2v1 Fetty Wap Flash Soulsuck 9000 combo to show them that this hay bag was raised in the most ghetto of cornfields, and those are the strengths you play around in the early game. Once you hit level 6 you arguably have the best ult in the game for a duo lane, and considering your little crow clones now double as sweepers, you have like 7 bushes that you will constantly fight to take control over in your lane, and if you do this correctly, the enemy will never know if you've backed or if you've just planned a dang surprise party for them.
You are now in the presence of a king.
Rengar's here.
And then as laning phase comes to an end, you now benefit from the fact that you aren't the junglers, so you don't have to be taking the objectives anymore, but rather just picking off the enemy when they are en route to the objectives, and having a permanent supply of scanner wards at all times means that they will hardly ever see it coming. Not to mention you have a great way to make sure none of these objectives go uncontested and finding ways to impact the game. I rarely sit in lanes and play Farm Simulator because I am farming champions at this point, just gaining vision control and bailing out my teammates when they are thinking they are capital F fucked. Arriving late to team fights in a fashionable style is the way to play almost every situation, considering as the ADC role you aren't expected to be in the front line or starting the fight. So in summary, this has been my very serious guide to playing Fiddlesticks ADC, and if you notice the extra effort that went into this particular video, let me know and I can turn this into a series.
Oh my god.
Brush your teeth tonight. Rav out.